Hello, class. My name is Kevin Jimenez. Do you guys know what CTE is? CTE is short for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. CTE is a progressive degenerative disease that that's found in the brain in people with brain trauma, repetitive hits to the head, concussions, and subconcussions. Um, CTE is mostly found in athletes because they're always involved in contact sports and mainly in American football because they have helmets on and they're usually tackling each other the whole time. Um, a study published by the Brain Bank in 2018 found that 190 out of 202 football players, NFL or college, have been diagnosed with CTE, and this was found by the CTE Informer Athletes website in 2019. Um, many NFL players are retiring because they're afraid of being diagnosed with CTE and other brain trauma that is occurring with a bunch of NFL players nowadays. And not only has this hurt NFL players, this house also has killed former NFL players. Researchers at the Brain Bank have diagnosed CTE in 110 out of 111 former NFL football players who have donated their brains. So the only way for us to examine their brains is if they donate their brains to the Brain Bank. And this includes 5 well-known former NFL players. It is Aaron Hernandez, Frank Lifford, Cam Stabler, Andre Waters, and Junior Seau. All 5 have been diagnosed with CTE, and not only were they diagnosed with CTE, but they also took their own lives because they couldn't stand the depression they were going through, the brain, how much their head hurt. They were going through just mood phases all the time, and they were just sick of it, and they decided to take their own lives. One person who really caught my attention was Aaron Hernandez because he was a well-known football player for the New England Patriots, and he was the main one who got the worst one of all of them who got diagnosed with CTE. He ended up murdering 2 people, and when he was in his jail cell, he ended up taking his whole life because he couldn't withstand the pain and everything that he was going through. And CTE has killed many NFL former football players, and continuing to let kids play football increases the risk of CTE throughout their years. Players like Rob Gronkowski, Chris Bowen have all retired because they are afraid of CTE. They're afraid of going through depression. They're afraid of going through brain trauma. They're afraid of mood swings and all the symptoms that apply to CTE. So they decided to retire early. And Rob Gronkowski is a famous, known NFL football player, and he decided to retire. And he loves the game dearly, but he just couldn't go through that what other NFL players did. In order for us to make change and to help these football players not go through all this, is NFL and college football need to make playing football safer. One way they could do that is by adding more padding inside the helmets or making the helmets more compact to decrease the risk of CTE, and having more padding inside your helmet will not allow your head to hit the inside of the helmet and will let just keep it straight on. One other thing is we could put a chip inside the helmet, and if you pass the certain limit of how hard the hit was, then you should be taken out immediately and not be let into the game anymore and go in for further examination. Many of these are our children, our family members, our friends that are developing all this stuff throughout the years, and letting our children play tackle football at such a young age to later develop brain trauma or CTE, we shouldn't be letting that happen. We should have our kids play soccer, baseball, golf, other sports that are not as compact as football, because this happens mainly in football sports. And our kids don't deserve to go through what these NFL players are going through. There are many side effects, and the brain trauma for playing tackle football is just unreal. and just seeing how many former NFL players are taking their lives is not okay. Um, by doing that, by not letting our kids play tackle football at such a young age, we could, hopefully have them live a healthy and happy life without having to go through brain trauma and stuff like that. Because, I bet the families of these NFL former football players are probably devastated because they basically took their own lives because of the pain that they suffered throughout the years. CTE is a very dangerous and deadly disease that can cause major trauma to the brain, and many NFL players have died because of the disease. And letting our children play tackle football is leading them to basically suffer the same things. And yeah, thank you.